The renaming of École Kingston East Elementary School. Who was Sir John A Macdonald? Sir John A Macdonald was the first Prime Minister of what is now known as Canada. He moved to Kingston when he was 5 and practiced law in the Kingston and surrounding area, opening an office in Kingston at the age of 19. The city of Kingston is beginning to tell a fuller story of the history of Sir John A Macdonald and his legacy. Though Macdonald is an important figure in Canadian history, he established many laws that were racist and oppressive to Indigenous peoples. Racism and oppression are two large words. Let us take some time to understand what these words mean. Racism is when people think that one race is better than another, and they treat people poorly based on that belief. It is when someone is treated unfairly because of how they look. Oppression is when a person or group of people who have power use it in a way that is not fair to other groups of people. When you oppress someone else, you do not have their best interests in mind. You are not being kind. Now that we understand what these words mean, let us talk about Sir John A Macdonald and his relationship to Indigenous peoples across Canada. What was his relationship to Indigenous peoples? Sir John A Macdonald created a document called the Residential School Policy. This policy was put in place across Canada. This policy allowed for the creation of what we know today as the residential school system. On Orange Shirt Day each year, we learn more about residential schools and the harms they did to Indigenous peoples. Residential schools opened in 1831, that is 190 years ago. The last one closed in 1996, which was only 25 years ago. First Nations, Métis, and Inuit children were taken from their families and communities to attend schools which were often located far away from their homes. More than 150,000 children went to these schools, and many never came home to their families. The goal of these schools was to take away the unique cultures and languages of Indigenous peoples. Many children were punished for speaking their languages or practicing their cultures. These schools were not like the schools you go to today. They were crowded, dirty, and the teachers were not nice to them. Many of these teachers never got in trouble for treating students badly. In these schools, children experienced many different forms of abuse. They also suffered from loneliness and longing to be with their families. These schools hurt children, hurt families, and hurt communities. The distinct cultures, traditions, languages, and knowledge systems of First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples were almost completely destroyed. The damage caused by these schools and Sir John A Macdonald's legacy continues to this day. Many Indigenous peoples across Turtle Island are still sad because of what happened to them and their families in residential schools. Why are we renaming the school? We want to rename the school to reflect all the best things about it. We want the school to be a warm and welcoming place where we can learn together. We want the name to reflect the dreams and hopes of each one of you. We want schools to be a place where we celebrate and honor each student, their stories, and their voice. We can do this by moving forward and teaching the truth. Schools must also teach the truth about the history of this country that is now called Canada. Sir John A Macdonald started a system that hurt a lot of people and a lot of children. Even though he is a significant person and was the first Prime Minister of Canada, Sir John A Macdonald's actions were rooted in racism that still oppresses Indigenous and other marginalized communities today. We want a school name that will feel welcoming and safe to all children and families, especially Indigenous children and families. We want to find a new name that creates a positive feeling when you walk onto the beautiful grounds and into the beautiful building. And we need your help to find a new name. To remove the name Sir John A Macdonald from this school is not erasing history. Instead, we are learning and growing in our understanding of history. When we learn from the past, we are making sure that we are showing our commitment to truth and reconciliation, and ensuring that we are creating a safe space for everyone. We know that you will suggest names that create a new, a more positive legacy for this school. For more information on Sir John A Macdonald, the residential school system, and the renaming of École Kingston East Elementary School, please visit any of the following resources: Limestone District School Board's website, CBC's Beyond 94, the National Center for Truth and Reconciliation, Project of Heart, the Legacy of Hope Foundation, the Gord Downey and Cheney Wenjack Fund, the Orange Shirt Day Organization, and the Woodland Cultural Center. For those in need of further support, here are some places you can contact. Mental health counseling and crisis support is available at hopeforwellness.ca, and counseling is available in multiple languages on request. The National Indian Residential Schools Crisis Line provides emotional support for former Indian residential school students and is available 24 hours a day. Miigwech. Niawa. Merci. Thank you.